I thought about what I wanted to do with the properties and have these aligned and associative between the parts and the assembly. So we go to Property tab Builder, again the Start menu. If you're in the Drawing module and haven't created one, and click on the Custom Properties, it will ask you to do so. And since I've created the part template, clicked out of it a little too soon. Go ahead and open. It'll take me to my file location, and then I can open it. And then I want to create an assembly. So for this one, I'll do a save as, making sure that I have the ASM PRP, and we're staying in the system files. So probably would create a separate folder to keep track of these. If we get more than about 5 files, 10 files, it really needs to be labeled what these are to be able to remember and keep track of. So we'll save. And so on the text box, let's see if I go back out, still in the assembly, and so I would change this to assembly, file properties, and I need to go back and correct that one anyway. So this is the part, and maybe that's why it didn't carry over, was the part number. Right, and then the material, and for the assembly, so it kept jumping up. So for the for this, we're going to clear this out, material, caption, and so I guess we'll just highlight it, and for an assembly it'll be varies. Rev A finish pretty much goes into the probably the default would be not applicable. So if I hit the enter down here, maybe an NA. And then we still have the modeled by and date, because again, we could have different people working on different functions in the process. So let's save that, and then I will make the corrections. Clear existing form. Well, we're going to have to check it at some point. So there's the properties template. Okay, so that went to the file properties, and I did not see the ASM. So hopefully that's saved. Another something to watch out for. So part number, I don't think I caught that when I was adding the caption to the assembly. Then we'll go material. All right, so let's save that, and then we'll try to open. Nope, I don't see the assembly template. All right, so I'll probably have to go through that again and figure out where I put it. The other thing I wanted to try is if I Control C and then go new, can I Control V? Nope, doesn't have that function. So another way that I would look at going about this, which is still kind of strange. And get to my system folder. I don't see that, so if I copy it and paste it, then I can override it with the assembly. Get rid of the copy. Oh, okay, took a little too much there. ASM, ERP, and we'll see if that opens. Alright, so I still don't know where that other one went, but we will try the same updates. And so assembly can have a part number as well. Again, we'll just overwrite those to varies. And the finish, we'll put in an inner and a not applicable, modeled by, save, and then we can just close. So while I'm here, we'll do the drawing. Weldments are a little bit different monster. So we had the modeled by and the drawn date for the part. Now if I do a drawn by, and we can just leave that. Could also do the list again. And then the drawn date. So we can kind of establish a timeline. And this will be the date, so we get the calendar. And then I want to save this. This will be the DRW. So draw template. I think I had those lowercase, so I'll leave it. Make sure there's not a space in there. Save it. Alright. So advantage of doing this now is that I go one more time into my sheet format, and those decisions that I've made, the A landscape, no, I'm not bringing anything in just yet. Let's make a little bit of modification so we can work with this a little bit. So since I know that that line has an endpoint that's coincident, just like in the parts, we can remove that. And let's see if I go 1.5, see if that updates. So I don't see any other fix to that, but I don't see it updating either. So, oh, there's the fix. So apparently I deleted the coincident. Now let's see what our increments are. 1.5, so that gives it a little bit more. And then I can come back and well, let's go ahead and make sure it stays. I'm going to say put the coincident back, but I'll leave it as fixed. So property, sheet file name, drawing name, part number. Alright, so these as a group. Let's see if I can window pick all of that. These as a group. Pretty much need to. Oh, grabbed one. So let's go down to the 10. Alright, so it did update all of them that way. So the drawing name, draw 9, the part name, and then the sheet, and then we can do a drawn by. And since those are initials at this point, they shouldn't be too much. I want to check out for that title block field. Since I'm moving away from the title block field, there's probably some places where I could utilize those, but I do want to delete that out so that we can have the drawn by, and I'll double check. Oh, actually I need to add it. So we'll go into the link to property. So the current document, its property name, and looks like I haven't adjusted it yet. So we will need that. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear those out. We have the part name and a part number. I don't think we can limit the fields, but we'll see. Alright, so there's the drawn by. If I put my name, I'm basically making this somewhat permanent. So since I didn't give it any default fields, let's just see if I apply it, will it create them? So there's the drawn by, there's the drawn date. So it basically takes it out of the custom properties, writes it into the file properties, and I didn't really pay attention when I was doing that, whether I was putting it in the custom, but I don't think there's configuration. Well, let's find out. So yeah, there's just custom properties for the drawing. All right, so for the drawn by, let it catch up here. And not getting into that box, so since I'm clicking on those and I lost my properties, that means I'm out of the sheet format. Make sure that I get back into that. Now we can link to a property and the drawn by. So looking at the order then, drawn by, okay, and drawn date, link to property, and okay. So if we go with the drawing names, since those are tied to, and be careful what I'm grabbing here. And looks like I didn't get the part number anyway. So it's kind of the downside is those can get quite confusing with the overlap. And then I know that there's a box there somewhere. So window pick. And I need to be right on that little square. I don't think it's going to let me have it. So let's see, can I get into, so let's just pick some so we have it, and I can always go back and remove them later. All right, so that makes that a lot easier. So really I'm going to need probably the model date. Well, I like to be a little more consistent, but I don't think I'm going to worry too much about those. So let's see if we can grab all of that as a unit. And then this will have a little bit more. So for the part name, then let's go ahead and Control C, Control V. I'll try that again, not sure what I hit. So instead of drawn by, the part name and the assembly would be modeled by, to have a little bit of separation there. And then you can go with the drawn date, and we'll probably open those up just a little bit more. Yep, grabbed. See if I'm getting those. Yep. Actually, that would work out pretty good because I like the spacing on that one, and I want to open up the spacing just a little bit on those. And probably be adjusting it a little bit more anyway. So overall, looks pretty good. Now that I have a little bit more room up here, could probably open those up a little bit, but that would be fine-tuning. Apparently, I am in the center layer, so let's go ahead and edit the sheet and make sure that I put those back into the format, or none. Okay, so modeled by, drawn date, let's go ahead and grab the default part. Okay, so this has the default property. So going through all of this effort is kind of getting us to that point that we will be able to go back and populate the parts in our future projects or in previous projects that did not have everything available. So, and I'm still in the center, so let's go ahead and add the link model found here. The property name, we'll go with the drawn by again. Okay, come down here to the none. And then before I add the next one, we'll make sure to go to none. And then the drawn date. And until we have some variation, we're going to have to kind of trust that I've done this correctly and verify as we go. So there's always something, probably something left to be done. All right, so got close. And then the model found here, but if these properties are laid out correctly, then I have a pretty good chance. But realistically, I'll find something else to chase here. And so the font would be one of them. So let's move that from 13 down to 10. That won't look so strange. To 10. Okay, we can delete that out because I don't want to save it with the sheet format and have it be continuous. So it looks like I bumped that just a little bit. So all those little things that will catch your eye and just kind of be annoying, we'll correct as we identify them. Let's see on the custom properties then. Let's go ahead and delete and apply. And then I want to save the sheet format because if I save it right now, it's going to save it as a DRW, an SLD DRW. And we're going to overwrite the my landscape. Close it, and then we're ready for the big test. So I go back into my templates. I grab the my landscape and did not update for the document template. So one more thing that I have to do is go into the properties. Since I already closed that out, I don't have the chance to save it. Browse, well, that's pointed to the right location. So let's just browse it again, wherever it wants to go, and the system files, templates, open. Well, let's see. So I made an assumption and that I would be able to do that from the documents, but let's go to the back into the A landscape. Everything is back the way I found it, so file, save as, and we're going to put that into the drawing templates, the my A landscape drawing template. Yes, close it, and then new, and keeping my fingers crossed, my A landscape. One more time. I have the updates. That probably could go to a 10 point, but when I hit the next sheet, I get the same. And then making sure we'll be able to see in the next round of parts that as I add parts that the drawing name should be referring to what's here. And then the part name, part numbers that we're applying, modeled by, and drawn dates. Actually, that should be a model date. So I have one more thing to change. That should all update with the other parts. So again, a continuous process, still has its levels of frustration, but it's looking a lot better.